Tazavesh Streets of Wonder is a 5-boss dungeon from Shadowlands returning in the War Within Season 3. The ruthless cartel boss Solea is attempting a heist, and we're here to stop her team. First up, Zo'phex the Sentinel. Stop this security system and its whirling blades to advance into the Veiled Market. Armed security. Zo'phex detaches spinning blade arms. Move out of their circles to avoid heavy damage. Charge slash. Dodge the targeted frontal beam on random players. Impound contraband. If your weapon gets confiscated, retrieve it immediately to remove the silence and gain vigor. Fully armed. At 4 limbs, Zo'phex gains 25% increased physical damage. Interrogation. Players marked will be imprisoned. You need to run far away from Zo'phex before the containment cell engages. Your party then needs to break you out while Zo'phex slowly moves towards you with spinning blades. If the party is late, you will die. It's a good idea to clear the area around Zo'phex early to make it easier for blade dodging and interrogation escapes. Next, we'll fight 3 mini-bosses in rapid succession. Burn each down before the next spawns. At the start of the encounter, Alcrux casts Gluttony. This is a dot that will jump to the nearest player when it expires. However, this dot lets you safely absorb anima orbs for a stacking 5% damage buff later on. Grip of Hunger. Run out after being pulled in towards Alcrux and avoid the circle. Grand Consumption. There will be 2 waves of ground circles. You need to dodge both. When Acolyte spawns, this is a good time for Bloodlust, so that you can burn down Alcrux while working on the second boss. Purification Protocol. Players will want to spread, as when this expires, it deals damage to anyone within 10 yards. Flagellation Protocol is a 5-second long tank buster. Use a defensive here. Throughout the fight, Acolyte will dispel anima orbs through Venting Protocol. If these hit you, they do damage and knock you back. Any player with Gluttony can run into these orbs to absorb them for a 5% damage buff that stacks up to 20 times. As a bonus tip, if your tank kills Acolyte in this doorway, the orbs that expel will get stuck in the doorway, and a player with Gluttony can run into the corner for an immediate 20 stack of the buff. Lastly, Venza Gold Fuse will pop down and has 2 mechanics. Chains of Damnation is a snare and dot that will reduce movement speed by 100%. You can either remove this by damaging the chains or with an ability like Freedom or Tiger's Lust if you have one available. During Whirling Annihilation, Gold Fuse will attempt to pull players into her whirling blades. Run against the suck to avoid damage. Next up is Mailroom Mayhem, and something has gone horribly wrong at the post office. Hazardous liquids. Purple circles on the ground need to be soaked by players. Each circle you soak gives you a stacking dot. Any unsoaked circles become area of denial, puddles of damage on the ground throughout the fight. Fan mail is a party-wide AoE that lasts 5 seconds. Money order should be soaked by the group to split damage. If the person targeted has an immunity available, they can move off of the group and immune this. During unstable goods, the postmaster will throw bombs on the ground. The players have to pick these bombs up, which will slow your movement, and you then carry it to the active post tube using the extra action button and target reticle to throw these unstable goods into the tube. Make sure you're throwing into the correct tube, as any goods that you throw that land on the ground or the wrong tube will explode for big party damage. From here, it's rinse and repeat as you soak purple circles, group soak money orders, and find the active tubes to give the mail to. Next up, we'll fight waves of patrons during a chaotic concert before tackling the owner, Zogron. Before the fight starts, everybody has to grab an instrument. The microphone and drums, for the tank and healer respectively, will stand in a trio of notes and press the action button to pop up and activate their buff. For DPS, you'll be using an instrument that will shoot you in a straight line along the notes, gaining your buff. During phases 1 and 2, while we fight angry patrons, we'll be dodging rotten food, which is green circles on the ground. We'll be interrupting Hyperlight Bolt. Tanks will be watching out for big damage from Security Slam, and as a group we'll be interrupting Menacing Show. As well, some of the casters will teleport to edges of the room. You'll either want to stun this teleport before it happens, or immediately interrupt them upon their teleport to bring them back into the pack. After 2 phases of patrons and 2 musical interludes, we face off against Zogron. Zogron's abilities are very similar to the ones we see from the patrons. He will cast Security Slam and Menacing Shout, which are to be dealt with the same way that they were for the patrons, with tanks using a defensive for the former and interrupting the latter. Zogron will also cast Suppression Spark. Make sure you escape the pull before you explode near your allies. And final warning, where we burn Zogron's shield fast and interrupt the cast or risk wiping. If you maintain the buff from your instruments, final warning becomes much easier to deal with. Lastly, at the top of the market will face Soazmi and their 5 abilities. Phase Slash is an uninterruptible attack that will slash 3 players for big damage and leave a bleed on each of them for 8 seconds. During the fight, Soazmi will cast Shuri, which causes an expanding ring of arcane energy to grow from a single point on the arena map. You have to use the pedestals to teleport inside the ring to remain safe. Look for where the ring begins and see which pedestal will be inside of it first for safety, and then move to the pedestal with the matching shape that is outside of the ring to teleport inside once you touch it. At 70 and 40% health, Soazmi will divide the room in half each time with walls of arcane light that you cannot walk through, forcing you to use the marked pedestals to teleport from section to section. Double Technique is a 15-second cast timer that must be interrupted twice. The time you have for the second interrupt is based on how much time is left from when you did the first interrupt, with the total time being 15 seconds. For example, if you interrupt the first cast at 10 seconds, you will then have 5 seconds left to interrupt the second. Or if you were to interrupt the first cast after 5 seconds, you would then have 10 seconds left for the second cast. The ideal strategy is to interrupt the first cast as quickly as possible and then delay interrupting the second cast to the last second. But make sure you know how much time you're going to have for that second cast. If the room has been divided, you may have to teleport 1 or more times to reach Soazmi to interrupt this cast. And randomly during the fight, Soazmi will relocate the pedestals throughout the room. And that's Tazavesh Streets of Wonder. This returning dungeon is a lot of fun, and hopefully with these tips, you'll be able to make quick work of the Veiled Market and its denizens. Be sure to check RaiderIO's weekly route for more tips and tricks on all Mythic Plus dungeons this season. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more War Within Season 3 content coming soon.